Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. Tonight we bring you some breaking news out of Pulaski County after a shooting left at least 2 people dead. Officials with the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office and Kentucky State Police are investigating after the shooting. The shooting reportedly happened around 7 p.m. on Brown Ridge Road. Kentucky State Police are also investigating a scene on Lawless Cemetery Road in Russell County. A Perry County school bus and a motorcycle did have a crash here on the intersection of Kentucky 15 and Kentucky 28. I actually have Trooper Matt Gayhart here with me just to kind of talk to us about what they know so far about the accident. Matt, can you just kind of tell me about what all happened as far as you know right now?
As of right now.
Good evening, Steve, and happy Election Day, everyone. I'm here in downtown Hindman, where the polls have just closed. Now, I did speak to the Knott County clerk earlier today, and she let me know that they did reach their goal of 15% voter turnout for today's wet, dry vote. Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. We begin tonight with some breaking news out of Morgan County. One person is dead after a house fire in the Ezel community. Good evening, Steve. I'm here in the Llewellyn community more than 24 hours after the Llewellyn Lake leak began. Now, behind me, you can see that this house, it belongs to the farmers. Yesterday, everywhere you see grass, there was actually flooding. So with the help of that pump that is working so hard over at Llewellyn Lake, officials with the Morgan County Emergency Management let me know that hundreds of people were without power after that first set of storms, but all of their power have been restored at this point in time. Commonwealth's attorney for more than 3 decades was defeated last night. I actually had some of that fried chicken from the world's largest skillet earlier today, and I have to say it might be better than chicken from a regular size skillet. Big Sandy Healthcare's mobile medical unit is small, but it's making a big impact in the Big Sandy, giving women in the most rural parts of the service area access to women's health care. As early voting begins, it's as simple as a press of a button for voters to choose their candidate for the Kentucky primary election before crowds roll in on May 21st. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman took a trip underground today as she visited Portal 31 in Harlan County. Now, officials with Portal 31 say it's not only a trip through Portal 31, but a trip back in time as you learn the history and culture of the mining industry in eastern Kentucky. After a public meeting on Tuesday, officials with Cumberland, Benham, and Lynch believe that combining their wastewater systems may be the best option to keeping all 3 cities earning revenue rather than losing money while losing population. This Black History Month, I sat down with Pastor Ronnie Hampton as he shared with me the trials and tribulations in his life that gave him the tools to break barriers while staying true to his faith, leading him to eventually be the first Black mayor of Lynch in Harlan County. All right, Tim, thank you. Much of eastern Kentucky's history is intertwined with the history of coal. But as the industry dwindled, not only in our region, but across the nation, some have made it their duty to preserve the memories that were created through the boom of the coal industry. I sat down with a couple in Harlan County who is doing just that. U.S. Steel may have brought the city of Lynch to fruition, but the community is what keeps it alive today. At its peak, Lynch was home to more than 10,000 people, but now that number is less than 1,000.
And the reason for that being is that U.S. Steel was shutting all the mines down, and if you were not employed by U.S. Steel, you couldn't live in this town, so you had to move elsewhere. And then the population declined and dwindled and dwindled and dwindled.
Those dwindling numbers ultimately led Lynch High School to graduate its final class of 21 seniors in 1981.
There are a lot of people that would care very, very little about their school. And I think a lot of times those are the schools that graduate 600 seniors. They didn't have, they had a lot of other things we did not have, but they didn't have what we have, the love and the closeness. That's not there.
In 2013, Mary Jo and Mike Obradovich took matters into their own hands, keeping memories that lived within Lynch High School alive by creating the Bulldog Room.
When the class reunion came around, we told them what we were doing, and that was just opening up a Christmas gift. And they pitched in, they donated money, that helped with trophy cases, and I mean,
Mannequins,
paint on the floor is expensive, you know, and all of it cost a lot of money, and they've all pitched in and done that.
And now the love, closeness, and memories live on through the belongings of students past.
The people that graduated from Lynch, when they come in here, for example, if they look at this picture of a championship team, it brings back stories. And if there were 500 people at that championship game, there's 500 different stories.
The stories of Lynch High School now live all over the world, but the Obradoviches say they will remain right here.
No place like home.
If you are interested in a tour of the Bulldog Room, you can find more information in this story on our website.
8 weeks after an Arley Boggs Elementary school bus crashed into a coal truck and flipped into a creek, a bus on the same route this morning with some of the same students had another close call. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has more on what's next for students and parents.
After students at Arley Boggs gave thanks to first responders and received praise from the governor for their resilience, it happened again.
Twice in a little less than 2 months is tough for our students, tough for our community, and I know our parents must be worried.
9 of the same students were on the bus Wednesday morning when the driver avoided hitting a coal truck and ended up in a ditch.
We have about 18 of them that are riding again, and then this morning we had another incident where the majority of the students on that bus were on the bus on January 12th.
Students like Amelia and Dylan still worry when they see big trucks on the road.
Yeah. If they're going fast, yes.
It makes me sick.
Dylan had to get 12 stitches in his face after the crash on January 12th.
I think glass cut me, but I'm not sure. I didn't know I was cut until my cousins was telling me, you need to put pressure on that, you're bleeding bad.
Terry says after the first crash, the district got all buses equipped with citizen band radio to be able to communicate with trucks. But parents wonder, is that enough?
There's a lot of people that think the buses don't have radios, and today they had a radio, and this still happens. So.
Bus driver and principal Freddie Terry says a local mining company has already committed to not run coal trucks during bus routes.
Now that doesn't affect our entire bus run, but it does take care of 4 or 5 miles of our route, and that is a first step, and that's a positive step.
Terry hopes this happening again so soon leads to changes sooner rather than later. In Letcher County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Principal Terry says the governor's office called for an update on the incident this morning shortly after the school made an announcement. Sirens were blaring in some communities yesterday when those storms moved through. In some places, those sirens have a history that will never be forgotten. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has more from Morgan County about the negative memories severe weather brings up in West Liberty.
After the tornadoes that hit our region in 2012, many folks still deal with those fears when severe weather strikes.
Yeah, we were standing in the parking lot. We were watching a big cloud, and it appeared like it was going to go north of the city, and it rotated, and you could see like things coming off the top of the hospital.
Community members like Linda Oakley say it is not something that someone forgets overnight.
Just coming into town, it was a loud quietness. It was very quiet. People were whispering, but then there was the loud noise of the generators and the fire trucks.
And as the community rebuilt, she says the sense of community made hard times just a little easier.
People were helping each other, and there were people from outside that we're helping. And that means a lot. It really does, to know that there's others that are coming in to help you, and you're not alone.
Oakley adds the spirit of grit in the mountains is what got them through.
I think there is a resilience here, because people a lot of times in eastern Kentucky have hard times, and have over the course of history, and they've learned how to survive.
With 2012 behind her, Oakley is reminded all severe weather is urgent.
If the siren goes off, it's not just don't ignore it. I mean, you know, chances are there's may never be another one hit here, and but then again, there could very well be.
And she will continue to treat it that way. In Morgan County, Madison Carmouche,